Welcome to the Average Nobody's Podcast, the ultimate home for wrestling enthusiasts, beer drinkers, movie quoters, and pop culture connoisseurs. Here are your hosts, Matt and Ryan.
Well, hello there. I'm Matt.
And I am Rai the Fly Guy.
Rai the Fly Guy. What's your name for Rai Bye Bye? That's your Venmo, right?
Yeah, Rai Bye Bye. It's something
so
simple
good.
about rhyming that it makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's so good. Well, welcome to the Average Nobody's Podcast. As you heard, our intro is back. We're going to jump right into this because last week we were trying to do the episode with the draft and Game of Thrones episode 803, right? It was 803.
Yes, the long night.
The battle. Yeah, that was called the long night.
I think so.
But our draft was fine, but then something fucked up with our program that we use, and so we had to cut the Game of Thrones section, even though we talked extensively for a good amount of time about it, which is unfortunate. But what we're going to do right here is we're going to recap the long night, and then that way it'll bring us right into the new episode, which 804. What was the name of it?
The Last of the Starks.
The Last of the Starks. All right. So first of all, there was a lot of controversy for 803, the long night. A lot of controversy with how it worked out, and also a lot of controversy about how it looked. It was a very dark episode. Did you find yourself having trouble watching it?
I really didn't, and I watched it that night, and what we've been doing is watching it live and then watching it, the next day. Just to kind of, get some fresh eyes on it, just in case there's things I missed or whatever the case is. And when I watched it originally, I didn't really have a problem. The only qualm I have, which I don't even think that's the right word. I don't know why I used it, but the only issue I had was, and I think it was by design, like some of the fight scenes, especially at the beginning of the battle, I thought they were shot too close, so you couldn't really tell what was happening. I didn't really have an issue with seeing it. It just seems like we were so zoomed in on, a specific character that I would have rather seen, maybe more expansive shots of the battle, especially since there were so many White Walkers. But I don't know. I mean, you're fighting the army of the dead in basically like a winter storm blizzard at Winterfell. There's no street lights. There's it's fire. Fire is the only way you can see things. Yeah. So I'm fine with it being dark and kind of, you didn't know who was what or what was going on. Like, it was supposed to be chaos, I think. So I didn't have an issue with it.
Yeah, I think that what you're talking about, like everything, them fighting up close, I think that's a fair assessment for something, because I know that John Wick 1 and 2. Have you seen either of those? Have you seen both of them? Okay. So John Wick 1, one of the great things about John Wick 1 was all of the action scenes were filmed very like step back, like from a step back position, so you could see the entire fight scene play out, and it was one long shot. One of the things I disliked from John Wick 2, still a great movie, but one of the things I disliked was that a lot of the scenes were chopped up, more like traditional action movie stuff, where it's like very close up, quick chops, quick cuts. Like arms flying, kicks and guns and, swords and knives and all that stuff, just up really close and kind of like a collage type thing. And it makes for a more intense action scene, but it's not as impressive, I think. And also you can't get a bigger picture of what's going on. So I think that was a lot of what would happen in the battle at Winterfell. It was dark. There was a lot of close-ups. I mean, you're not dealing with a 2-on-2 fight or a 1-on-1 fight. You're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of people in one shot at one time, like 20, 30 people fighting each other at one time. And then all these other CGI characters. So it's going to be tough. I spoke my piece on Twitter about how dark it was. And people were upset about how their TVs were handling it, and I kind of explained there's an easy way to fix that. You can tune your TV if you go to YouTube, and it's people find that ridiculous, but it's just one of those things. It's here's an option for you to make it look better, just take that option and run with it. You know what I mean? Like, don't complain about it. Like, if you have the, you have the means to change it. I'm not asking you to like take the TV apart. It's like going into settings. And we talked about last week too, like on your TV and on my TV, there's presettings. And a lot of times all you have to do is change one of those presettings and they'll take you through different styles of views. Like sometimes it's better to watch sports on this type of look. Like it's better to watch movies on this type of look and TV shows. And so I hate that. I hate that. That's exactly what the directors wanted to go for. Like that's what the filmmakers wanted for this. Like this is what they wanted. Like this wasn't a mistake. It wasn't like they got to the editing room and they're like, oh shit, all of our footage is dark. Like that's not what happened. Like this is an artistic choice, and it was the right choice for this battle. It's in the middle, like you said, it's in the middle of the night in a snowstorm. There's no lights. You know what I mean? Like this is not. It's just like it's dark. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it is a simple adjustment too. I mean, I don't know how much it would have helped people who were complaining. You know what I mean, to change their setting, but it didn't affect it at all for me. I thought it was a fantastic episode. The director Miguel Sapochnik, he did Battle of the Bastards. He did Hard Home. So like he's their go-to battle director. Like the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it took them 55 nights to film. Like, come on. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry it was a little dark for you, but it didn't affect anything. I mean, for me, I thought it was a really, really good episode, especially because they're, before that episode, there wasn't really a lot of action. It was a lot of setting the table, which they did very well. But then, the Great War, if you're going to hype it up as this Great War, you needed action, and it was pretty much nonstop action. And I think I'm actually almost kind of glad that we were doing both these episodes back to back, because the only other issue I had, and Game of Thrones is usually really good about this, was I thought too many people survived the battle. But I'm so glad that everyone who did, because this most recent episode was crucial for them. Like you needed Brienne and Jaime and all them to survive, even though storyline wise, I don't know. Like it didn't feel like, usually Game of Thrones is not shy about like, look, if someone's in like a deadly predicament, they're gonna die. They don't give you those false, like kind of those like false alarms, where I kind of felt like they did that a little bit, which I don't like when shows do that. Like they only survive because they're a main character. Like they had nothing to do with their fighting skill or anything. Like a couple of times Brienne was getting attacked on the ground by the White Walkers. Like, how do you don't survive that?
Yeah. Me and my brother were talking about it, and there was too many scenarios where there was people backed against walls, putting these like tough, like when Jon was chasing after the Night King on foot, the Night King raised like hundreds of people around him to like attack him. Like, how does Jon Snow get out of that? Like, even Jon Snow, a great swordsman, like he's not going to get out of that. They put too many characters in such, predicaments. Like, you got to kill off some of them. But the other problem was like, there's so many characters now, the way they're building the story and like the way this is going, there's so many characters that have unfinished business past this battle. And so that's why I went into this knowing, I'm like, all right, there's going to be a few key players dying. I assumed that Jorah was going to go down, but I didn't think anybody really above him as far as popularity was going to go down, because there was so many, like the Hound needs to see his brother, right? I didn't feel like any of the Stark children were in danger. Jon Snow already died. Like, if he's gonna die, it's probably gonna be in the last 2 episodes or the last episode. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. So, I maybe I saw another dragon going down, but
yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was really well. A huge, which they're not also very key on a lot of times, but it was a really big female episode. With Lady Mormont. I mean, who's the goddamn best? I love her. Going down a hero, killing a giant, of course, killing really a giant. Yeah, Melisandre had a huge role, even though. So now I was talking about this with Neil. Do you think the strategy was for the Dothraki to charge like that, or do you think when she lit up their swords, they just got so hyped that they just left? Because
I think they just left. I don't think that was part of the battle strategy, because then also, like, what were they waiting for to begin with? You know what I mean? Like, they weren't waiting for Melisandre to show up and light their swords. Like, I feel like that, like they were waiting for the dead to make a move. So I think just by lighting the sword like that was there. But we talked about this too. Like the score was amazing in this. The best part about that episode was the score. The score was fucking incredible. And who's the guy that does it?
He's
I
an
can't pronounce his
Indian
name, so I
man.
won't try.
First name is
Yeah,
yeah.
very good. I've seen it.
You did, that's
I've
right.
seen it in person twice.
But yeah, he's done this
Yeah,
like
it's
that
amazing.
episode was his 73rd ep. So it's Ramin Djawadi, which is that's 100% how you pronounce it. I know it. I know I nailed it.
Yeah, so the score was amazing in that beginning. Like it's like this amazing score, and they light the swords, and it's like this big like motivational like feeling like, you know, like we're gonna do this, and then slowly the lights
That was
it starts
awesome.
getting dimmer and dimmer, and the swords get extinguished, and then you realize like the weight of what is actually happening. Like those guys are
Right.
joining the army of the dead
And
right
they,
now.
you know, the
And that's not
Dothraki,
good.
like throughout the seasons, it's always been said like you can't beat them in an open field. Like they're the best fighters in the world, and then they just like got extinguished,
Yeah.
literally extinguished in a few minutes. But yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, I
Yeah.
really hope that wasn't
Yeah.
the strategy, because it was a horrible strategy. Like, let's just go into the darkness with these undead creatures. Like, well, what's the worst that could happen?
Also, fuck all these people online that are like putting out actual like what the actual battle plan should have been, like going by old timey like battle plans. They're like, well, the cavalry should have been in the back, the trebuchets should have been built behind the castle walls. Okay, and where in your research do dragons go? You fucking idiot! Like where are you putting dragons in your little
Well, what
diagram
about the
here?
undead
Your
Night
little
King who rides an ice
recreation,
dragon?
right?
What's the strategy for that one?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, let's ask Teddy Roosevelt how
How
he
do you
would handle
plan for
that.
him? Right. Yeah. Fuck off.
Uh,
Ridiculous. So ridiculous. Everybody take it easy. We'll get
and the
into
thing
more
is too,
ridiculous
like
outrage in the next episode too.
I mean, they were training and getting ready, but I don't like when Tormund came back and said they're going to be here like at the end of episode 2. He's like, they're going to be here by like tomorrow night. So it's like, okay, now you got to scramble everything together. Like they weren't expecting to have to fight the entire army so soon. But yeah, I mean, I there was obviously some questionable things, but yeah, like how stupid do you have to be to go in? Well, when we were in the Spanish-American War, we, you know, this is how we set everything up. Yeah. What about the
Right.
dragon?
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, right. What about how are you going to plan for the dragon? How are you going to plan about this guy made of ice?
The guy with the horns on his head.
Like, what are you going to do for him? Yeah, right. He has horns, and he has a whole bunch of people that can throw javelins like 500 yards, like a bullet.
Yeah. What's the strategy?
What are you planning for them? What simulation are you? What sports science are you watching that's going to prepare you for that? Oh no, what was that other show? It was oh man, it was actually a cool show. Me and my brother used to watch all the time. They would like put two people in history against each other fighting. It was like one episode was like a pirate versus a ninja, like who would win in a battle. Shit. Oh, it was a cool show. Yeah, it was a cool show. They did like the Army Green Beret versus the whatever, I don't know. And they did like a breakdown of like what weapons they had, what kind of training they had, what was the circumstances of them fighting and whatnot. But that's what it reminds me of. It's like Night King versus human. Here's the matchup. So you know, it ended up coming down to you know, Beric Dondarrion and the Hound came to Arya's rescue, which in turn put them in this little predicament where they were trapped in a room with Melisandre. Melisandre came back with that, the prophecy or like
she saw her,
I guess, prediction, right? The prophecy that she had told Arya right earlier in the season. She said she would kill many people was it blue eyes, green eyes, brown eyes, green eyes, and blue eyes. And so, and then she said the little ditty that her sword teacher back in the day, Sirio, I forget his last name, the first sword of Bravos, said to her,
not today.
Such a badass line. That's so awesome. Not today. And not today is the response. And she charges out and fucking so I went back and watched it. And at first you don't well, I didn't recognize this. But so she jumps in the air and like, you know, the Night King grabs her and she drops the blade and stabs him in the gut, right where he was created, in the same spot where he was stabbed by the children of the forest back when he was created. And I don't know if that was like, I argue with my mom about this, Like, I don't know if that's where he needed to be stabbed in order for him to die,
Yeah,
or if
I
it
don't
was just like
know
a
because I mean,
callback.
he could have
You
stabbed him in the
know,
face.
I just I right. I disagree with him needing to be like stabbed in the same spot to kill him, because if you think back to when John first killed that White Walker general guy, he just slashed him with the sword, and I don't think that's how he was created, like being
Right.
slashed by a sword in that exact location. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. But what I noticed was right before that scene, one of
Mm.
the White
And he like looks
Walkers,
over.
like, his hair blows, and he looks
That
over,
was
like, and
really,
she just like
yeah.
went
And that
right by him.
score,
I thought
just
that was
like
so cool. I thought
the
that
the
was really,
score
really
that
cool.
guy did from the scene
Oh my
where
God.
Tyrion and Sansa are holding hands, I really thought they were going to off themselves. But from that scene to when
Yep.
Arya
Yep.
kills the Night King, that score is just unbelievable. Like the tension is just rising.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the
Yes.
episode when everybody's in the
Yep.
sept and fucking Cersei blows it. And it's like that, the guy's crawling towards the candle trying to put it out, and you're like, holy fuck. And it's just building. Like, that's exactly what it like reminded me of. That was an amazing, like, the whole score and the whole show
Yeah,
is great.
it was perfect. I mean, what did you think? Were you
Um,
happy that Arya did it? Did you think, because I talked to Holly about it. She thought, it should have been more to it just because of like how, how important and how,
yeah.
like unstoppable this Night King was. But I mean, I felt like that's how you knew he was
Yeah.
always going to die. Like, I don't know how you make it more dramatic. Like, it was always going to be
Yeah.
the
Right.
dragon glass.
Right. I had a real I didn't have an issue with Arya killing him. No way. Like, that wasn't my problem with it. One of my issues with it was
Mm,
we didn't really know his motivation, like truly know his motivation. Bran said that he wanted an endless night. So he wanted to kill the three-eyed raven so no one would be able to keep records, and he wanted to destroy everything, right? And so no, like, there was no history however that is, however you depict that. But I feel like that was just brought up recently, and then in this season, and then all of a sudden for him to die, and like you don't really know more about him. But also there was a part of me that this whole series leading up to this battle with the Night King and him ultimately dying, I never pictured the Night King's army in King's Landing. I could never picture that. Like, what does that look like? That's like the Night King goes on summer vacation. Like, it's very bright and like warm and sunny down there. Like, it's not the North. Like, I pictured him battling in the North. I had never pictured him
and
being
I
in
think
King's
the A
Landing. So
story
that was
was
going to be odd.
always, you know,
Um,
it's the Lannisters versus, I mean, everyone now, but it was always like Cersei versus, versus Jon or versus Dany or versus Tyrion or versus, someone. Like, I think that was always the A story, even though the
yeah.
first scene of the series was the White Walkers. Like, I don't know. I always thought like the final battle was going to be human versus human. It wasn't going to be against the White Walkers.
Mhm. Yeah, and like, call it like cleaning up, tying up storylines fast or whatever for the last season, but like you need to give time to the King's Landing battle. Like, you need to give time to fight for the throne. Now that the Night King's out of the way, and that's the decision they went with. Now they have 3 more episodes, or
Two,
two.
yeah.
Well, yeah, 2 more episodes, right? 2 more episodes to clean this up. This most recent episode was after the battle, so it
So
was
do you
kind of
think the Night
building up
King's
towards the
done like
battle with
for
Cersei.
good?
Anyway, what? I have this weird thing, like feeling in the back of my head, in the
Oh
back of
God,
my
you're sick.
spine. That's not a saying, but I have this weird feeling that I'm putting on the back burner. That is, there always has to be a Night King, and I'm not getting this from anywhere. This is just me, like, spitballing. That there always has to be a Night King,
Yeah.
and there always, like, you know what I mean? Like, there always has to be a Night King. So, originally, what my thought was that the Night King would wipe out everybody and then get to the throne room and then turn around and walk back north. Like, that was it. Like, it was a cleanse of the whole, like, the whole realm, Westeros, everything. And then he goes back north. But now I feel like that there has to still be a Night King. So
Yeah,
maybe
because
there
I
will
mean,
be
like
one
he has
created
his
at
mark
the
on
end,
Bran,
like
he
at the
has his
very
mark
end,
on
kind of
Arya.
like a cliffhanger.
So I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? You know, and I don't think, I don't know, like it would be strange for him to pop up in King's Landing, obviously, but it wouldn't be weird for like a very last like scene, like, you know,
Yeah.
something to like tease a return of the White
I
Walkers.
agree. I don't think he's gone. Well, I like
So,
maybe he's
that's what I
gone,
think.
but the
Yeah.
idea of him isn't gone. Like you said, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So Arya kills the Night King. Everybody, the next scene we see in the next episode, now jumping to the next episode,
Yes,
is the first the first scene is when they're burning all the bodies, right?
it is very good.
Okay. The speech that Jon Snow gives is amazing. An amazing speech. Like, so motivation. Like, it's so like, he's like, you know, we will not forget, and like we carry the burden of telling their stories to our children and our children's children to keep them alive, and they did not die. Like, they are the shield that protected
It was a
the
very, very good
the
speech.
world of men, or the whatever, however he says it. It was amazing. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And just how well they did, like how they went back to everybody in different like areas and their little like factions in the battle. They were able to give the people who were grieving over the main characters that died their time with them. So you got Danny like lighting up Jorah's little barbecue, for lack of a better word. You got
Sam
Jon
and
Snow with Lady
whatever
Mormont.
that guy's name is.
And who?
Eddie.
Right. Yeah, well, I forget his
I think
name.
it is
The
Ed.
guy from Castle Black. Yeah, Ed. Right. Who else was there? Who else was
Yep.
getting some
Barrett.
screen time as a dead person? Oh, Barrack. Right. Arya lit barracks, and then of course, you know, the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of other Dothraki and Unsullied and Knights of the Vale that died as well. So they were all getting you know, burned and
yeah, that was like
sent
that
onward.
was a
But
good
it was a nice
beginning, I think,
send off for
'cause
those
it,
characters that we knew.
Finally ended that war, but then they just had a transition, you know, to the new war. But before that, they had quite a little feast, quite a little party.
Rebels. They
I'm assuming you saw the
nice.
Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because it was such a quick scene. Like,
yes, really not until after, though.
How the hell does that happen?
Yeah. And I have a few thoughts on it. So my number one thought is that, or a couple thoughts. My number one thought is that it was left in, and then for a split second, and then it was taken out. But during the time it was in, they did a take that they ended up really liking. Like, they liked Daenerys' reaction in that, and they didn't have time to go back for a reshoot. Yeah, like and then somehow they forgot to paint it out. Like, they forgot to edit it out, you know? Right, airbrush it out. Or they airbrushed it out and then they somehow submitted the wrong file to play on HBO. I'd be curious to see if, when this comes out on DVD, if it's still there. And then my other thing is, if this is a kind of a stay woke moment, a little conspiracy, is possible, that Starbucks paid it's not a really hefty for them. Amount to put that in that episode. It's not bad press for them at all. And it's one of those things that I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I doubt that like a ton of people noticed it while they were watching. It wasn't until after, when someone that saw it when they were watching like showed it to everybody. So it wasn't those things, like it wasn't like a very apparent ad where you'd be like, oh shit, like that's just like shameless self-promotion right there. Like they sold out. You know what I mean? So it could have been just like, oh yeah, we'll throw it in there. No one's gonna notice on the first shot, but you know, it'll eventually come out. Like,
it
this
was
is great
very funny.
for
But
Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Starbucks trying to get in on that. Like, is their owner still running for president? The CEO? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Was that a thing? God damn it! What the fuck? What is happening? I don't know. I hope not. But Actually, I don't know him. I can't say that, but I would assume no. Like that's not a good idea. Also, like, how did Daenerys not? If the fact was there was an accident, how does Daenerys not be like,
What am I
"Hey,
supposed to
someone
do
take
here?
this Starbucks cup away. It's
That's
sitting
why
right in front
it
of
feels
me. How
like
do I
there's
not
like so many
notice
layers
this?"
where someone would have saw it. That's
Um,
funny though. But so yes, it was
yeah.
really good. I'm not gonna lie, I
Who
didn't
knows?
like
Yeah, but
Brienne
the
and Jamie
little
getting
party they
together.
had was awesome.
No,
Did not enjoy that. I'm not saying
no.
that just like I didn't enjoy seeing them like hooking up or whatever. I didn't enjoy that storyline. I think that's in poor
Especially
taste.
when
I
he
think that
came and
it's just
like
like one of those things that
when
didn't
he
resonate the
came to
way
Winterfell
that they thought it
and
was
was
gonna.
like, "You're the leader. Like I want to fight for you, with you." And then all of a sudden, now she's like crying because he's leaving. It's like
Right,
that didn't
right.
flow well. I mean, she's supposed to, like you don't need to turn her into this blubbering
Yeah, it's
like girlfriend now. I mean, I thought that was stupid. Like what they should have did is what Arya did, like when and then also we have to talk about this too, but when apparently his name is Gendry now, not Gendry. He's been Gendry the whole series, and then Daenerys calls him Gendry. Did you notice that? No, it was Gendry. It's been Gendry forever, and then
I didn't
Daenerys
notice that.
called
See,
him
I thought his
Gendry.
name was Gendry.
So I guess that I don't know. I guess they switched it for that, but
Really? See, I didn't notice that.
what's it called?
I didn't notice that.
But like when he said like he wanted, he proposed to her, like that now that is like consistent with
When he
Arya's character. Like she's not gonna
proposed,
obviously go and live with him and be his wife. I just felt like they should have did something like that with Brienne too.
yeah, yeah.
No,
I think there was. I don't think they should have even put them in that situation, like in the first place. I think they should have just been left alone. They had like mutual respect for each other. I think they were pretty good friends. I didn't think
yeah,
it needed to go that far. It was just such a weird thing with them playing like "Never Have I Ever," like playing with the wine and shit. It was just weird. And then the whole thing with like, why do you gotta do that to Tormund? Like you make Tormund cry as well. It's like no. It's like I'm glad they gave
hmm.
him another girl to like satisfy him while he was there and whatnot,
Yeah.
like
I
kind of
don't
like a
know.
little redemption right there. But it was so weird. It was like Jamie was flexing
That's
on
kind of stupid.
Tormund, like he was like that was so fucking weird. You know, going back to the Gendry thing or Gendry thing, when he's walking and he's just trying to get out, and when she calls his name, I was like, oh shit. I was like, but like everybody's happy, so I didn't think anything bad was
I
going to happen.
forgot.
And when she names him and gives him what's the Baratheons? Where are they from? Do you remember the name? Anyway, she gives him that castle and his family's people, whatever, the family castle.
Right.
I was like, that's odd. Like that's just very odd. But then it like immediately hit me. I'm like, she's trying to befriend everybody. Like she's trying to make sure.
Yeah.
And then you immediately see that like nobody gives a fuck about her. Everybody fucking is just loving Jon Snow. Like Jon Snow is just the fucking man. Everybody fucking loves him. They're making jokes with him. They're fucking getting him drunk. Yeah, I just thought
She's
that
gonna
was
be the
funny,
Mad
and like
Queen.
that also was like, oh shit, she's gonna start going crazy. Like this is it. This is yeah, this is it. This is the beginning of the downfall, and I feel like it's gonna be a perfect three, like including
The
this
shit's gonna
episode,
go
a
down
perfect three
next week.
episode arc
Like
of like
it's
her spiraling into madness. Yeah, right. Oh yeah, shit is going down. And so you have the scene of her and John, and they're talking, and like, did you agree with? I mean, I'm assuming you sided with Jon Snow in this conversation. He's like,
it is. She is right
we can
because,
like,
like you
I will
said, like
denounce it. I
people
don't want it.
flock to him.
And she's like,
Like
it doesn't
he
matter what
didn't
you
want to
want, which she's
be
also
Lord
right.
Commander of the
But
Night's Watch. He didn't want to be King of the North, but he was all those things because he really didn't have a choice. He's the best. He's not only the best choice, he is the rightful heir now. It's not really a choice. You're the heir, and now more and more people are finding out. Now Arya and Sansa know. Tyrion and Varys know. So, as Varys said, it's no longer a secret; it's information.
yeah,
So,
yeah, the our Sansa is really
manipulation.
like taking pages
Mm.
out of the Littlefinger book of like I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. for sure. Like she's playing. Like I said, this even when they were leading up to the battle of with the Night King, she was still, her and Cersei were the only ones still playing the game. Like she is so smart. She knows what's going on. She's not an idiot. She knows how to play this. And I think she's playing it smart. But to release that information is definitely behooves her, because at the end of the day, like there might be more people, like physically more people that back Jon Snow in the North
100%.
than her.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
like,
I mean,
that's good for the Starks in the North.
I don't know what's going to happen with that, because obviously Cersei keeps proving time and time again that she is the real threat, yet Daenerys seems way more preoccupied with Jon, or yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so now everybody mounts up and they're heading down to King's Landing. They split up, actually. You have some of the fleet that take to the boats, and they're heading to Dragonstone. That's Daenerys, that's Missandei, that's Grey Worm, and some of the army, and the dragon, and the 2 dragons. And then you have on foot, you have mostly everybody else, or on horse. And you have the Hound and Arya teaming up again. Very excited about. I love that. Them alone, love it. They're gonna fuck some shit up, and I love that they're probably just gonna show up.
That's the thing. Like
at some point,
the people who are there,
during the Battle of King's Landing.
Still, like Jon's not there yet,
I'm a big
right?
fan of that for sure.
And then Arya, the Hound, and then I have to imagine Dario Naharis is coming back soon.
Yeah, not yet.
No?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think anybody knows he is, but I think that it would be a surprise if he did. Like, I don't like Daenerys obviously doesn't know that he's going to be coming back for sure, but who knows? Like, it would be weird if I think the way they left him, it would be weird if he didn't. But who knows? I don't know. I mean, that could be the boost that could be the boost that Daenerys' army needs. And then also that could drive a wedge between Daenerys and Jon. Because he could just side with her. He doesn't fucking know anybody else. Like, he doesn't know about Jon Snow and his reputation. He could side with her, and she already loved him. So,
because it's
that's easy, and like she can just be like, all right, fine, then I'm just going to take it from Jon Snow.
I think they should have probably expected,
I'll just take it from him.
Not necessarily the dragon to get shot out of the sky, but Euron Greyjoy's there, and that they're like, he's a sailor. You know what I mean? Like, that's his forte.
Yeah,
I feel like they should have been a little better prepared for something like that to happen.
Yeah. I
don't know. I think just
I didn't understand why
like
they
that
were going
was
to Dragonstone.
Like, they were just supposed to meet Cersei
for it?
and then discuss, what the steps would be. Which, the not great negotiating skills between Tyrion and the doctor guy. They're both just like Qyburn, but they're just both like unconditional surrender.
Yeah, what is that guy's name?
There's no other option. Like,
yeah, Qyburn. Yeah, and Qyburn's like, Queen Cersei would also like your unconditional surrender, and yeah, it's like it was a stalemate, and he's like, Tyrion's trying to negotiate, and he has a little more play with what he can say, but Qyburn's just like, I am just a mouthpiece for our queen, like, just like, this is like he is just relaying a message, and fucking Cersei flexes. Well, when Tyrion walks past Qyburn,
I did too,
in that scene, and like looks up at Cersei, and she lifts her hand. I thought that Tyrion might get it right there, like 100 arrows. Imagine that, just like 100 arrows, just like. But she's flexing like she always does. She has the power to do this, and she wants to let you know that she can do this. Everybody was like, why didn't they wipe out that army? Why didn't they wipe out that army, like, right there? First of all, that'd be terrible for the show. Like, like, what the fuck are they gonna do if they kill the last dragon right there? They're fucked. That would be terrible for the show. Number two, wow, Cersei's character would never do that. That wouldn't, from my personal view of Cersei, that would not be something she would do. She has a plan in motion, and she's not going to veer from that plan at all just because here's an easy way to, like, wipe them out. She had with them bringing all the people into the Red Keep. She has a plan. She's
Yeah.
honestly, she's going to win or she's going to go down with the ship. That whole place is
Yeah, she's
definitely
not just
wired
gonna
to
let
blow
someone like
for sure. I mean,
beat
you
her.
saw her with
Like
the
if
episode
she's
where she
going
blew up the
down, then
set.
everyone's going
Like
down.
that's it. No, she's in control. She had all those um the big like arrows, the big I don't know what they're called. Scorpions, I think is what they're called. Those big bow and arrows, like aimed at the dragon. And after you just saw them easily pick one of the dragons off in the sky, which was a heart wrenching scene. After picking that dragon off the sky, you see how easy it is. So they're not going to try anything funny, and Cersei knows that because if they do, then they're done. But this is not what Cersei needs to be doing right now. And also,
Yeah.
if she takes
Oh,
out
yeah.
Daenerys and that little
Maximum
bit of
damage.
army, she knows there's plenty of other people that still oppose her. She wants everybody there at the same time. So, you know, right. Because then what if Daenerys
Yeah.
gets taken out and Jon Snow and the rest of the North are like, you know what? This is not our fight. Let's just go back. Like, let's just leave. Let's just leave it. And
I did
then
feel I
now
felt
she doesn't
bad
have an
for
opportunity
Missandei.
to clean, wipe the slate clean. So that's how I felt about that scene. It's unfortunate. I did. In her last words, Jakaris was fitting,
Oh,
and
amazing.
also fitting because that's how Daenerys feels on the inside. Her facial expression in that scene, amazing. Like Emilia Clarke, like amazing actress. Like you can see how much better I think too she's gotten over the seasons. But like this season, her facial expressions are next to none. Like it's incredible. She looks so angry, and she's fucking. Not only she's spiraling into madness, but now her
Yeah,
best
well,
friend
because
is
now
dead
like she's
at the
been
hands of
wanting to do
Cersei.
this, I
Not
think, but
happy.
didn't
This
necessarily
is
have a
it's gonna
reason
cause her. It's
to
gonna cause
just
poor
burn everyone
judgment.
alive.
I think.
But now she can rationalize it in her mind. She can rationalize it, but like you said, it's where Cersei has
Right, and there's
this
a reason.
perfect plan. I think she's just gonna fly off the handle, and she might have like this part all set up, but she's not thinking about something else, like how it's going to affect something else. Whereas Cersei has all her bases covered because she's doing exactly what she wants to do.
What
Tyrion
do
and
you
Varys.
think about Cersei's? Not Cersei.
I don't know. I
Daenerys's
think they want
advisors.
John. I think they both want. Yeah,
Yes. What do you think about that scene?
but I think they're also afraid of that she's going to do exactly what she's going to do now.
Oh, they both.
Like I
They
think they're
both
afraid
clearly
that
want
she's just
John.
going to lose her mind, kind of. But it's hard. It's hard to blame her. Like she lost her dragons, 2 of her dragons. She just lost her closest advisor, really, her best friend.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I think it's too soon to. I think it's not fair to call her crazy right away. Like us as viewers, obviously, we know where could lead to. But they're just going off of like her dad. They always go back to like her dad, the Mad King. Like, is she going to be mad? Is she going to have that in her or whatever? I don't think
She
it's
lost
fair.
Jorah too.
Because, her dragon just died. She just fought against a bunch of dead people and almost died. Her best friend just got her head chopped off right in front of her. Right, and Jorah died. So like if that wouldn't cause anybody to go crazy, I don't know what would. So, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think Tyrion has the right response. And I also, by saying like that's treason, like we stand with our queen and whatever. But I also think Varys has, he already like this is not uncharacteristic for him in the war room at Dragonstone when he was getting questioned by Daenerys back. I don't know if it was last season or the season before. It must have been last season. He told her straight out. He's like, I am for the people, and he said this again to Tyrion. If I don't know exactly what he said, but he was talking about like if I feel like you're not going to do what's right for the people, then I won't be working for you anymore. Basically, right? Isn't that kind of like what the gist of it was? So this is what he's doing. He's for the realm.
Like, it's kind of
He's
hard
for
to
the
just
people.
go ahead and rule
He wants to do what's
after you
best
do
for them,
something like that.
and her burning everybody in King's Landing is not best for the people. Mhm. Yeah, so not going well for Daenerys. I assume she's back in Dragonstone, right? After that little confrontation with Cersei. So she's back in Dragonstone. The rest of the army is marching south. Jaime's on her way. We alluded to earlier that he left Brienne.
I think he's going to try and stop her.
And is heading back down.
Yeah, I think he's finally turned for
do
good.
Do you think he's going to be with Cersei?
Against
or do you think he's
Cersei,
going to kill
I
her
think,
or stop her?
I don't know. There's a couple ways they could go with it.
I think so too. I think yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I really want Arya somehow to be the faceless man again. Somehow. I don't know if it would. I don't know if it would work with Jaime, because then Jaime would have to be dead, right, before that. Which I feel like, how do you?
Yeah.
Like, how does
we'll see that
how does Jaime die? Cersei not know about it. Then Jaime comes and it's actually Arya. I think it would make more sense for her to do it some other way. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that we'll see her as the faceless man deal before the end of this. I do agree with you. I think that Jaime is finally turned for good. I think that he had to say all those awful things to Brienne just to like convince her not to come. Like that's just like what he had to say to make sure she wouldn't.
So she's going to stay there with Sansa,
just in case.
I mean, you have Bronn too. Bronn obviously.
I don't think she would anyway because she's sworn to protect.
It's weird.
Sansa.
I like him a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It was kind of strange.
What did you think about that scene? It was weird. It wasn't characteristic for Bronn, I felt. He like walks in with the crossbow drawn. He punches Tyrion in the face. I thought that was a funny line. He's like, Tyrion's like, you broke my nose. He's like, I didn't break your nose. He's like, how do you know? He's like, I've been breaking noses all my life. I know what it sounds like. I thought that was funny. That was like on character, definitely. But like, I mean, I knew he wasn't going to kill them right away. I didn't think he was going to legitimately threaten them. Like, what is he standing to gain right now? First of all, he knows that Tyrion is going south. So when Tyrion shows up at the wall and talks to Cersei, she knows that Bronn didn't do what he said he was going to do. Okay. And then now also Jaime's going south. So when Jaime gets to King's Landing and sees Cersei, she's gonna know that Bronn didn't do it either. Like, what is he doing? Why not just side with them and not go back to King's Landing? Like, easy, like done, or fight against the people at King's Landing.
But I feel like
I think he's just
he
fed
still
up.
has kind of like an important role to play somehow,
he just wants
right?
a castle and he wants to be done with it. That's it.
You can't really go back to Cersei. Like, she's like you said, she's gonna know.
No, go ahead. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, he's gonna. No. At the end of the day, I think he'll help Jaime / Tyrion. I don't think he's going to kill them. That would be such a weird thing, like for him to befriend like Tyrion and Jaime separately, and for at the end I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess it could be very Game of Thrones for him to do that, but I don't see it. I think that both those characters, Tyrion and Jaime, have other more important people that could kill them and make more sense. Also, Jaime's heading south to see Cersei. He's not just going to get let in the front door. She wants him dead. He's not going to just let her in. And also, like, I think Euron's now a little. Euron might feel like the whole situation's a little fishy with his so-called prince after Tyrion like calls out that he knows that Cersei's pregnant. Like, how does he know that? Like if she just told Euron that our son is going to rule them all, then how does Tyrion know that Cersei is pregnant? You know what I mean? So, and Euron knows that she has a history of sleeping with her brother, and her brother and Tyrion have been together.
I mean, he definitely
for the last whatever time up in Winterfell. So, maybe now he knows it's not his kid. Maybe he doesn't care.
I like him.
Maybe he's just a lunatic. He definitely is a lunatic. I was talking to Sean and Adam today. They don't like Euron. Where do you fall with Euron?
No,
I like him too. I think he's a lunatic. He's absolutely a lunatic. But he came on strong. Like he hasn't been boring. There hasn't been 1 second of him on screen where he's been boring. He's had great lines, and he's like, I always respect like the
Yeah.
people who command the seas, and so I've
He
always like
does.
kind of like the
Same eyes
Ironborn.
and everything. Yeah.
He's just a badass. He's a badass pirate.
Not
It's
not
pretty
not
cool.
the
He
handsomest
also
guy
looks
in the
like
world.
$20 chef from Barstool. He does, right? Yeah, he looks just like $20 chef from Barstool. It's so funny. So it's cool. No, no,
Mhm.
I think I think it's cool. I think his alignment with Cersei is cool. I think that Cersei is definitely using him. I think that she'll probably throw him out with the old trash when she's done using him, or maybe she'll just string him along. Um, but he's not there because because he chose to be there. He's there because Cersei's allowing it. And if he keeps performing like this, like he killed the dragon, he captured
Right.
the
He's
people
been
who
very useful.
poisoned her daughter, and she was able to kill them. He's doing all this great stuff for her. Why wouldn't she keep him around? You know, very useful and yeah, very useful. Has a great track record. I hope he. I mean, I am with no, you know, it's no
Hey,
secret
you
that
stay
I am Team
consistent.
Cersei. I want Cersei to be on the throne at the end. I know that's not a popular opinion, but it is one that I hold. And I've been Team Cersei for at least the last season and a half, 2 seasons. It's hard not to root for Jon Snow, but as we're starting to come down the end, it's like he doesn't want it, and maybe this is finally the position that he doesn't want and doesn't get. Not the position he doesn't
No, I
want
mean it
is
was
forced upon him.
the burning of the bodies at the beginning, then
So, was there any
the
other like big
party, like the
parts of this
feast,
last episode that we're
and
missing?
then yeah, and then just like traveling to Dragon, was Dragonstone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
Dragonstone.
is.
That's where Daenerys' people are from. I find all that so interesting, like where, like the people, like where their families are from.
Yes.
I find that all so very interesting.
Yep.
And like River Run is where the Tullys are from, right? Okay, 'cause that's where the Blackfish was. Okay,
Yes.
Blackfish was there, and then you have Highgarden, which is now where Jaime and Tyrion are promising the castle will be for Bronn, and that's where the Tyrells are from.
Yeah.
And then you got, and where are the Lannisters? Oh, the Lannisters are from Casterly Rock. Right. I just love that. I love that, like the world building about that. Like that's just so fucking cool. And like the lore behind the Starks in the North and how they like it's like a totally different country. I would love to like when they do one of their spin-off series, and I know they haven't really announced it. I would love a show just on the North
Yeah,
and
there's
just
just
on
so
the
many
families in the North.
interesting
Like that would be so like from
so many
you can
interesting
start way
plot
back
lines
with like ancient
that you can
families and
do.
stuff, whatever. But that
But
would be
yeah,
really cool.
I think that's pretty much it. It's setting up for chaos next week and potentially into the series finale. But
Yep.
I've liked it a lot. I think it's been very good, and it shows like episode 3 was very battle heavy, very action heavy. This one had its action at the end, but for the most part, it was it was a lot of dialogue. It was a lot of like secret meetings and things like that. So for them to still be able to like put on this quality of show, 2 totally different episodes, is very impressive. And we're gonna miss it. You're not gonna get a show like this, maybe ever.
Yeah, I agree. No, I'm gonna miss it so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, never. No, it's one of those. It's one of those white whales
It
of a
really
show,
is.
and it's even like I like Breaking Bad. I would put in this category as well. But like I'm getting more Breaking Bad with Better Call Saul. That show is so fucking good. But there's not. I would be shocked if
Yeah, I don't
HBO is
think
able
so.
to recreate the charm and like the excitement that Game of Thrones has provided over these 8 seasons with a spinoff. It's so tough, but it's like this is something special. Like these 8 seasons are
Yeah,
something
all right.
very special. I love it. I do, and I'm gonna. You're
No, you
right.
go
We're
first. I'll
gonna
think of
miss it.
something.
It's crazy. You want to make a prediction for next week? Just one prediction each.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you have one, or do you want me to start? Okay. My one prediction for next week, I'm going to go a bit outside the box. Okay. Jamie, his fate is going to be decided this next episode. I think that he's going to accomplish something that he was set out to do, or I think he's going to die. I think that so like I don't know if that's like changing Cersei's mind. I don't like not truly changing her mind, but doing something to change the course of action. Whether that's him joining back with Cersei and killing Euron
next season.
Or that's him getting killed by the mountain.
I think this is it for the Hound. I think
Jamie's fate will be decided next season.
Yeah, I think the mountain is going to kill him
next season. Yeah, I wish
he's going to go down. He's going to go down swinging. I think maybe it might be a double kill.
Oh,
well, like I think they might kill each other. Like,
yeah, I think that
something like that. You know.
Oh, who else?
Doesn't seem like he wants to.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that being fitting for the Hound. Yeah, I don't see him living past the battle, the Clegane Bowl. I don't see him living past that. No, I think that's like kind of like what his end goal is. I think he wants to be done with it. I also think that like it's a very different like from him. Like he hated his brother, like really hated his brother, but also I think that he knows like his brother isn't who his brother is anymore. Like he's a zombie, right? So it's not the same type of battle that he originally wanted. So maybe it's like he feels like he's putting his brother out of his misery. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And in that case, I definitely see them killing each other because then in some way the mountain is also putting the Hound out of his misery.
And then Arya's gonna be there too. I don't know.
It's a good prediction. You think the Clegane Bowl's next week? Okay.
Yeah.
That would be something. That'd be something. I think, yeah, right. Arya and the Hound are going to be together, right? For this, right? Okay,
yeah,
that'd be something. Imagine if Arya uses the Hound's face for the something. I don't know how that would help her, but like she, like you know what I mean. Like everybody hates the Hound in King's Landing anyway. I don't know how that would help her, but yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
But yeah, the Hound definitely my favorite character still. Definitely number one. But I just know he'll never. You know, imagine if the Hound's on the throne at the end. He'd be like, "Why? Why is this happening?" He'd be like, "What?" Right? Yeah, it would be great. It would be great just to hear the lines from him. All right. I think that's good to wrap it up right here. We put our predictions in for next week, and we'll be back at a normal time. Very sad. I don't know, maybe Monday or Tuesday next week we'll record after the new episode. So, yeah, only 2 more left. Very, very exciting. Also very sad. Well, that'll do it for the Average Nobody's podcast, number 76.
Have a lovely week, everyone.
May 7th.
And
May 6th.
We'll catch you on the flippity flip.
May 6th, 2019. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Flippity flop.